Well, welcome to the Netherlands. This time it is race number 12 of the season. Nope, race number 11 of the season. I'm jumping ahead a little bit here mentally. Whoops. But yeah, we're here at Zandvoort and already fumbling the first corner. Ignore the fact that I'm P15. It was a little bit terrifying in terms of qualifying here. A lot more fast-paced than I anticipated here. And a lot more slidey than I anticipated, especially out of the turn 4 there with the first paint corner of the racetrack. But almost keeping our foot in it, kind of fumbled the entry there, so we are a little bit off in the first sector, but still trying to keep with it here, especially considering the fact that I knew I could improve on the first lap handily enough that I wouldn't have to back out or be worried about anything. But being in the first two sectors here, being down on time is not exactly the most comforting thing, but we will very much gain a few tenths of a second here in the last sector alone. Just have to be able to actually stitch that up throughout a full lap, but with DRS active, we will make our way out of the final corner, and luckily we did not have a Q1 exit. We will make our way up to, well, it's provisionally P11, but basically just enough to make it into Q2. So again, Q2, shocking. We will go ahead and I intentionally, as we just barely clipped the grass with the left side tire, so I was going to completely mess up the entry a little bit. Intentionally, I decided to go out with just a little bit more time remaining in case I did fumble this lap. I have enough, like here, to starting to learn that I like to really push the car in qualifying. I mean, it's a no-duh scenario as we just clip the grass again ever so slightly, but this time we'll keep our foot in the throttle here. But still, just kind of bleeding time throughout the second sector, just ever so slightly, but we are gaining time. It's better than Q1, but circuit is definitely a challenge. I can attest to that. So we are trying to get into Q3 for, could it be the second race in a row that we get into Q3? We got a podium 2 races in a row. Can we get into Q3 2 races in a row is the main question. We'll have to come around the final corners and see if that will be the case. Handily, completely gaining a whole bunch of time here out of the final corner, and we will come across just 0.02 of a second behind Piastri. And, well, unfortunately here, as I decide to go with a back-to-back lap, I just mess up corner exit ever so slightly, and we do get shuffled out to P11, so I know we're starting provisionally P11 here for the Grand Prix.
For years, the people of Zandvoort fondly recalled the Grand Prix they used to hold, and then came along Max Verstappen. Across Europe, the Orange Army sold seats and seats and seats, and now they have their own Grand Prix. It is time for race day in the Netherlands. Zandvoort circuit then, 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with plenty of steep camber and elevation changes to keep our drivers on their toes throughout the 2.6 mile lap. And watch out for cars making use of the DRS zone into turn 1 to overtake. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Piastri, Hamilton, George Russell and Alonso, Tsunoda, Sainz, Colapinto and Esteban Ocon, Frostbite, Bortoletto, Charles Leclerc and Behrman, Antonelli, Gasly, Nico Hulkenberg and Lance Stroll. Hadjar and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
And we are away here for the Dutch Grand Prix. Can't really go anywhere though, as we had a couple lanes open, but Colapinto and Ocon took away the available lines as they are 4 wide into turn number 1. I had to avoid about 3 separate crashes here. with about 5 separate cars, apparently, it seems, almost quite literally. But now that we have a clear lane, we will get around, quite literally, Carlos Sainz. We're seeing less and less of him recently, now that I start to think about it, but go ahead and try and peek your nose every which way alongside Ocon. We finally make it through, and we will be stuck behind Colapinto promptly for the rest of the lap up until heading into turn 1 down the main straight. On lap number 2, we'll very handily make our way alongside and then eventually past the Alpine, starting with a more aggressive strategy as well, especially considering at some point during this race it is projected to rain. So starting on the soft tires for us for this race will very handily get us up through the field, as Alonso will try and hang around the outside. We have a little bit of a moment and he'll back out as a result of that. But yeah, we are now up to P6, and oh, and look, it's George Russell again. Very interesting that we are terrifying the Mercedes as Russell just stops on turn 1, basically. Jeez. I know he's on hard tires, but basically comes to a complete stop, all things considered here. But we'll try and make our way through using the battery that we've recharged through the lap. Only on lap 3, by the way. As we will look to the right-hand side, we will go for the gap, and he'll stay alongside us actually here. At least somebody decides to try and fight with us, but throughout this entire section, he finally gets shuffled out, and we are now in P5. We are set of sights on Lewis Hamilton now, who is running on medium tires. Could another podium perhaps be in the cards for us? Well, not with that kind of a fumble. No, it won't. Just a little bit too wide on the curb there, so the underside of the car got caught on that race curb, and we fall back into the clutches, unfortunately, of the Mercedes of George Russell. And oh boy, is it ever unfortunate, because he will make his presence known throughout this entire rest of the well, I guess the entire rest of the race might be the best way to put it, because he does make his way past us, but we have a very opportune passing zone for us here, which is shockingly heading through this high-speed section. So a mini DRS section, just, well, battery-only section, really, if you will. So go ahead and make our way through, but really not able to do anything there as we are not fully alongside. So we'll try again a couple laps later, lap number 10. And this time we'll just barely avoid making contact, and we just nick the curb. So that's going to upset the grip that we had. And Russell still trying to fight up on the outside lane. It's a shame that's George Russell, otherwise this would be a very fun fight. It is a fun fight, but it's a shame it's George Russell, as we'll cross over to the inside. You kind of left that door open, to be fair. And with our DRS, we will be handily trying to put him behind us. And boy, do I ever have a gripe with these stupid objectives, where we have to try and stay ahead of somebody until a certain lap. It's quite literally impossible sometimes, especially in cases like this, as Russell will make contact with us out of turn number 1, practically just doors us for some reason. First, it's Kimi Antonelli. At least that one I could kind of understand, but Russell knew we were alongside. That was front wheel to front wing, so we're going to fight him back here, heading into turn number 1 on lap number 19. This has gone on for this long, by the way. It just keeps going back and forth and back and forth. We brought in Alonso into this battle as well. And finally, we might have a second to breathe here as we will go into pit road. Russell was the first one to box out of the two of us, as I got a little bit confused on pit speed entry, because sometimes it's 80, sometimes it's 60 in terms of the kilometers. But we will go ahead and get our tires changed. I don't remember if I said it was a 2-stop or a 1-stop. It's definitely a 2-stop race, that's for sure. So soft tires and then mediums for the second portion of the race. And we might have a little bit of a reprieve in terms of strategy here, in terms of neutralizing the race. There is the aforementioned rain, and I'm going to try and get ahead of, oh gosh, it's George Russell again, who went to soft tires, interestingly enough. But I guess they knew the rain was coming. They timed it right, to be fair. So Russell quite slow out of the corner. We can't really make a pass here. We're forced to be held up here. It is a little treacherous, but I mean, it's not too bad. It's not really time to box for inters, but now it is, quite literally, as we round the final corner. So we'll end up stuck behind George Russell here, heading into pit road. which is genuinely quite a shame. I kind of wish I'd stuck it out, stuck. I wish I didn't box this lap. That's what I'm trying to say. Luckily, we're not stuck in our pit box this time by the Williams of Sainz. I'll move on to the 40s in terms of lap count because we ended up stuck behind Russell quite literally for that long. So it's going to be another one of those races where it's just back and forth battling, where it's interesting and fun to the point where it's a little bit overdone. So, but you can see just how slow we are through this section here. But I know I have a prime opportunity here for this section, not zone, because it's not a straight mode zone or DRS zone or what have you, depending on which terminology you're using. I wonder if it would be a straight mode zone though for F1. That would be intriguing. For 2026 regulations, I mean. This time we're a little bit closer anyway to George Russell. I'll go around to the inside as Russell's going to try and keep it, but then he just brake checks us and breaks the front wing of our car. That is not a section you normally brake at whatsoever. I don't care what line you're running. I don't care if you're trying to avoid going wide. You don't brake in that section. That should be a penalty for Russell. That would absolutely be a penalty in real life, I would argue. But, well, we are now stuck in the, at least P9 at the lowest, luckily. But we have to get by Kimi Antonelli. All things considered, we might have to also get by Carlos Sainz, but still in a prime position to score points nonetheless, especially since Bortoleto is so far back. But we move on to lap 49 a little bit later on in the race, and we have caught up to both Sainz and Antonelli, or more. Antonelli has caught up to Sainz and can't get by, and we're about to catch up to both Antonelli and Sainz, and we will be able to get by. I know the fact that you know, it's definitely possible. You just have to pick and choose the right moments. The AI don't exactly do that in this iteration. Maybe there'll be AI updates for the 2026 expansion. I would hope so. But they're a little bit too cowardly. So here's hoping for 2027 that they can actually get some opportunities here for passing and not be stuck in the line, because, come on, it's not that difficult. If the player can do it, so can the AI. That's my thought process. And, man, Sainz is devastatingly slow throughout these corners here. And the reason I left this in is to just illustrate, to show just how slow it really is. They'll pick up the pace, obviously, on the front straight, and we will also pick up the pace, but we have the use of battery as well. Antonelli's going to go to the right-hand side. Well, okay, we'll go to the left-hand side and take away that line. Thank you very much, Kimi. Really appreciate it. And we'll peek around to the outside of Carlos Sainz, wheel to wheel almost, who nearly doors us. But we do manage to avoid any form of contact at the same time of struggling on corner exit here. We are stuck behind Sainz for the moment, but we will use this opportunity to deploy the battery. We are close enough to make a move to the right-hand side, at least initially I thought so, but definitely not here, definitely not this lap, and it is painfully slow to be stuck behind Carlos here. But such is life in Formula One. We'll go to the next lap. This time we are way closer on corner exit. This time I'm more confident that we will be able to make a pass around the right-hand side. And that's some bullshit. That is some absolute bullshit. You look at the MFD here, once I pull it up, I don't know if there actually was a color difference. I glanced at it briefly. I don't know if there was a color difference, but that is some bullshit. If the MFD doesn't pop up for damage, oh well, I don't think there's actual damage. So we move on to the last 10 or so laps of this race where Verstappen has caught up to us. Well, it looks like if Hamilton has Silverstone plot armor, then Verstappen has Dutch Grand Prix plot armor, as we will overshoot and unintentionally block Verstappen in and get a little bit loose as well. Whoops. Not intentional, just a genuine mistake. But we move on to the closing stages of the race. Lap number 68, where Norris is out again. For the second race in a row, Norris is out. If I remember correctly, this one's just a mechanical failure for Norris. But man, Norris with the reliability issues galore, like it is the 2026 season. It is insane. And shockingly enough, I was thinking the race would end under safety car. No, the safety car is coming in this lap and the field hasn't even remotely caught up. So I don't know what it is with the coding there, but the race should have ended under safety car. Not sure why it didn't. It should have, but I'm not sure why it didn't. I know for F1 Manager it will end under safety car, but for this game I guess it won't do that for whatever reason. But then that means everyone is all out of position, basically, all out of a prime opportunity to race effectively. So I'd rather we would have finished under safety car, but regardless, we will get by Ocon, not for position, just to get by him, all things considered. As you can see me just waiting, now we can get by him. And he will promptly back off, and we will get close to Verstappen, but it doesn't really matter because we're not racing for position. And Verstappen will come across the line and become victorious in Zandvoort, and we will come home with a 6th place finish.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So that does it for this race. All things considered, a quite done and dusted race. Nothing too out of the ordinary here, as we still remain 9 points ahead of Antonelli in the standings, and 50 points ahead of Williams in the constructor standings. Next race is Monza, another high-speed track. With how we've had the high-speed track so far, things might be looking up in our favor here to secure both 7th in the Drivers' Championship and 5th in Constructors.